I'm going to make a concerted effort to be positive and happy, because that's what people like, apparently. And I get accused. I constantly get told I'm grumpy and miserable, and I'm not. I'm happy, I'm upbeat, I love being alive, love being a human. Being a human's unbelievable, isn't it? If you're a human, you really have nothing to moan about. I realised this year that being a human is the best on the planet. I was on a plane eating a chicken sandwich. That's not it. It's pretty good, though. I thought, I am eating a bird whilst I am flying. Unbelievable! I, a flightless land mammal, am consuming a bird in mid-air. Never mind the fact I just ordered a gin and tonic in a cloud. And it's because I think being a human is so easy that that's why you get annoyed with people, because people don't seem to try as hard as I would like them to about life. And I am a perfectionist. Give us a cheer if you're a perfectionist. Fair few of you. The rest of you are annoying. You say it now, because you go around and you make mistakes and you drop things and you laugh about it because you think it's part of life's rich tapestry. It isn't. You should be trying harder. I like a massive perfectionist to the point that every mistake in my life counts the same. So, in my world, dropping a spoon is the same as running someone over. In that you didn't mean to do it and you did it, so you have to get angry about it and make sure it never happens again. And I watch people make mistakes. I came into London last year to do some gigs, and I was on the London Underground. I was on the Hammersmith and City line, which, if you don't know London, is the line that goes from Hammersmith into the city. Cockneys really don't piss around when they're naming their things. Oh, a bit of a tube line, Gary. It goes from Hammersmith to the city. Oh, yeah? What you going to call it? Don't muck about, Gary. Don't muck about. So anyway, I was on the Underground, sat down, and I knew I needed 6 stops to get to where I was going. And opposite me on the tube are 2 young girls. They're all dressed up. They're going out for the evening. They're laughing. They're giggling. They're joking. They're generally pissing me off. See, I'm not a big fan of public shows of joy, you see. My motto is, there's misery in this world, you just have to look for it. If something's broken, you can fix it, and if it's untidy, you can tidy it. If someone's unhappy, you can make them laugh, and you've made their day a bit better. Happy people are finished, you can't help them. If you're happy, don't go out, just stay at home and enjoy walls and ceilings. And my real issue with the happy is it's happy people who make mistakes, because they're so busy enjoying life, they've forgotten to do it properly. So I was on the Underground, and these girls are laughing away, and they're a perfect example, because they're enjoying being together so much, they haven't noticed they've got on completely the wrong train. Right? So we're hurtling off in this direction, and they should actually be going in this direction. Right? And about 5 minutes in, one of the girls cottoned on, and she tapped her mate on the leg, and she went... We're on there. I would have been furious. Let's say it now. That's not funny, is it? What's happened there is you've just lost a big chunk of your life. The time you were going to spend doing the thing you've left the house to do, you will now spend correcting your ineptitude. I know some people say, once you've got on the wrong train, John, there's nothing you can do but laugh about it. But the only reason you would ever laugh in this situation is if you do this so often, you've just had to learn to find it amusing. Done it again. What are we like? I'll tell you. Shit at being alive.
My name is Ardal. It is a real name. I am a real person. Don't worry, nobody ever gets my name right. Call me all sorts of things. Harry and Arnold and Aaron and Anal. That was one, genuinely. Yes, I heard that over a tannoy system at a theatre in Norwich. Could Anal come to the stage door, please? Lovely. Me being so passive, I just turn up and go, yeah, it's me, Anal. What do you want? Of course, a lot of people call me Dougal. You know why? Simply because of a character that I played in a sitcom many years ago. And just before I start, I'd like to get something off my chest, if you don't mind. Because of that character that I played in this show called Father Ted, a lot of people think I'm actually stupid. They think I'm the stupidest person in the world, and they feel sorry for me. Only last week, someone stopped my wife in the street and said, "Is he as stupid in real life?" I wouldn't mind, but I was standing right beside her at the time. I'm talking to her like she's my carer, not just my wife. And this is a true story, and I'm going to tell you this and then I'm going to move on. A couple of years ago, I was in a taxi. I arrived at Dublin Airport. I live in Dublin, and I jumped into a taxi, and I asked the taxi driver to take me home. I gave him the address. I didn't just assume he knew where I lived. And the taxi driver just wanted to talk about this show that I was in, Father Ted, and he was looking at me with pity, and he actually asked me at one point, he said, "Do you remember being in it?" This is my life. People wonder why I do this. Why I travel up and down the country week in, week out, try to convince strangers that I'm a normal, intelligent human being. Well, that's the reason. Anyway, I'm in the taxi, and I'm trying to change the subject to anything at all, sport or politics, and I'm trying to impress the taxi driver with my knowledge, and I'm using big words to impress him, like utensil and testosterone, and we were getting on fine. We were about 20 minutes into the journey. This is absolutely true. I suddenly remembered that I have a car. Some of you are ahead of me. And 3 days previously, I parked my car at the airport car park. And I just couldn't tell him. I couldn't bring myself to tell him. I know how the world works. One little slip up, you'd never be allowed to forget it. "Oh, sorry, could you turn around? I'm such a big fool." No. I know he'd be telling everyone, "Oh, you'd never believe who I had in the car, that feckin' Egypt from Father Ted." So I let the driver take me all the way home. And as soon as he was out of sight, I called another taxi and I went back to the airport.
But we've moved now. We've moved to a place called Pinner. We only moved to Pinner because the estate agent said to us, he said, "Oh, Pinner is a lovely part of West London." West London. We get Welsh telly. It's not London, but it is very nice. One of the things I like about where we live is it's very multicultural. I think that's one of the brilliant things about London. I think multiculturalism is something we really have to fight for. Like the school my kids go to, it was very easy to pick a school for my kids because obviously we just picked the one with the highest ceilings. But the school they go to, it's a really nice school and it's very diverse. Like we have a mum's night out once a month and all the mums from the school go and there are women there from every economic background, every race, every religion. And we have a fantastic time, and the Muslim mums drive us home. I tell you what, it is nice. I had an incident the other day, though. I was walking down the street near where I live, and it was one of those sunny days, one of those days that remind some van drivers that women have breasts. You know, one of those. And I was walking down the street, and there was a van drove up and slowed down, and two guys leaned out of the van, and they were in classic kind of leching position. And I knew they weren't going to be looking at me because I am 44 years old. And in fact, my older friends, when I was turning 40, they said, "Oh, being over 40, it makes you invisible," right? And I have found, yes, that is true, but the brilliant thing is it mostly makes you invisible to dickheads. So it's not really a problem, it's a superpower, if anything. So I'm walking down the street, these two guys are leaning out of this van, and I see they're leching, but they're looking past me at a younger woman, a woman in her 20s, who is walking alongside me. And these guys do the classic thing. They lean out of the van and they gave this woman a very detailed appraisal of her anatomy. You know, they covered all the main areas in bullet-pointed form, very thorough. And then they went on to suggest what I can only describe as a smorgasbord of activities they felt they would enjoy indulging in with her were they not under pressure of time to get to the next plumbing job. So they did all this and they drove off. And naturally, I turned to this woman and I said, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? That was horrific." And she said, "No, I'm fine. It happens all the time." And I thought, yeah, it does when you're in your 20s, doesn't it? And we were chatting about how silly it was as we walked down the street. And then we got further down the road and the traffic had slowed down and this van had come to a stop. And I think a few years ago I would have just left it, said nothing. But this year I thought, you know what, if I'm going to be invisible, you know who else is invisible? Ninjas. I'm going to be a bloody middle-aged ninja. I'm going to strike, right? So I went up to the van and I just leaned in and I said, "Oh, hi, guys. Listen, sorry to bother you. I just wanted to say thank you so much for what you did back there because my son here has been undergoing a very difficult gender reassignment." He's been worried that it's not going that well, but what you did back there really made him feel like a proper woman. Right? Thank you. I was delighted with myself as well. But what was really special was that then the young woman next to me leaned in beside me and in the deepest voice I've ever heard, just went, "Yeah, thanks, guys." It was a beautiful moment. Obviously, it wasn't perfect. The only thing that could have made it perfect would have been if the guys in the van had said, "Actually, if your child is undergoing a gender reassignment, it's incredibly insensitive of you still to be referring to her using the male pronoun." They didn't do that. They just called us slags.
We spent 10 years looking for bin Laden. We scoured 27 countries looking for bin Laden. We spent $2 billion looking for bin Laden. Where do we find him? In his house! But the reason why I love the Arabs, because the Arabs, they know how to riot, you know? Whenever there's a riot in the Middle East, the next day, regime change. In Britain, there's a riot. The next day, the middle classes with brooms tidying up. Does everyone just... Arab Spring, British Spring Clean. Just tidy up quickly. As big as man. But the Scots didn't riot. You know, it's amazing. I was in Scotland when the riots happened, and it's amazing. I spoke to a taxi driver. He goes, there's no way we'd riot in Scotland. There's no way. People in Glasgow know if people riot, we hit them with the water cannons, man, you know? You hit them with the water cannons and you put the blue dye. You need the blue dye in the water cannons. So when you hit them, the next day, whoever looks like a smurf, you bring them in. That's how you do it. Simple and easy, man. No bother. Wow. But man, the Arab Spring went all around the world. It started in Tunisia, then it went to Egypt and Syria. Every country in the Middle East was galvanized, everywhere except Dubai. Because Dubai is a very interesting country. They're a bit too, there's too much money there. There were people on the streets going, what do we want? Democracy. When do we want it? After happy hour. And when you go there, they always give you some kind of, there's always a guide who goes, Omid, you come here, you come to Dubai. We are the Las Vegas of the Middle East. You want girl? We got to girl. You want drink? You can drink. You want to gamble? You can gamble. All day long. Girl, drink, gamble. Gamble, drink, girl. Drink, girl. You want to drink, girl? We blend, girl. You drink it. You want all three? We blend, girl. You drink it. We bet how quickly you down it in one. I said, actually, no, I'm not into that all that. I'm actually quite hungry. He goes, oh, what do you want, my friend? Anything you want? I said, quite fancy a bacon sandwich. He went, pork? What do you think we are, infidels? This is a Muslim country. Now kindly drink your woman and leave. Applause. Applause. That means so much to me because, you know, because I'm a theatre ponce. Deep down, I'm very uncomfortable with all this. I have to say, look, you're all here. There's one man in this big thing trying to make 3,600 people laugh. I'm very uncomfortable with this. No, it is because there's a thin line between being genuinely entertaining and mental illness. I've seen the tapes of I used to do Godzilla impressions, you know? What was that? Here's my impression of Godzilla having his toe stepped on. That's not comedy, that's neurosis. Like, here's my impression of Godzilla having asked for Earl Grey tea, but actually getting a coffee. That's not comedy, that's because my father didn't love me. I'll do one more. Here's Godzilla having voted Liberal Democrat, but realizing how much influence Nick Clegg actually has.
People ask me, they say, Chris, what is it like trying to raise a child when you can't see the child? It's ups and downs, you know, ups and downs. You just got to go with the flow. Can't prepare yourself, you know. She's 3.5 now. When she was 2.5, if you haven't got kids, by the way, as soon as they get to 2, they're adorable. They just start asking questions. They want to know what everything is. You are their source of information. They want to absorb the world. My daughter, she's 2.5. She's in the bath. I'm knelt there. I'm bathing her. She's like, what? What's this, Daddy? What's this, Daddy? Oh, bloody no, do I? Give it here. Just... You might be 2.5, but you know way more than Daddy at this point, sweetheart. She goes, what's this, Daddy? Ice cream? I was like, ice cream? Big handful of shit, wasn't it? Massive. Not like a little pebble, not like a little sweetness. Where did that cut? An impressive quantity for an adult male. I wasn't entirely sure the dog hadn't jumped in and done it when my back was turned and she just scooped it out. She just slapped it in there in one go. It threw me. I didn't... Look, right, I obviously didn't see it coming. I didn't even... No. I didn't even smell it coming. This came from underwater. This was a stealth move, right? And I'm not entirely sure exactly what happened, you know. I've narrowed it down to 2 options, I think. I've given it some thought. I mean, she was 2.5. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. She deserves the benefit of the doubt, doesn't she? Option 1, benefit of the doubt. This is what happened. She sat in the bath of the warm water. Yeah? She farts. She shits herself. She doesn't know she's done that. A few minutes later, that goes floating past her in the bath, doesn't it? She sees it there. She thinks to herself, I wonder what the bloody hell that is. That looks a little bit like ice cream. I know, she thinks. I'll ask Daddy about that. He knows about these things. He's a very, very clever man, yeah? That's option 1, isn't it? Benefit of the doubt. Option 2. She's a bloody comedy genius. She's sat there in the bath. She's got Mr. Penguin up here on the wall. She's got, hey, Mr. Penguin, Mr. Penguin. Get on this now. This is going to be brilliant. This is going to be amazing. Watch his face now. Watch his face. Watch. Keep looking, keep looking. What am I going to do? Not only am I going to do a shit and put it in his hand, I bet you I can make him sniff it. Ice cream, Daddy? Ice cream, huh? We were very lucky with my daughter. They say you got to watch your language around your kids, don't they? That's what they say. We were very lucky. My daughter's first words, apart from hand on heart, apart from mama, dada, baba, all that nonsense, her first words were go away. That's what she said. That's all she said for 3 months. Go away. Go away. She thought it was just one word. Go away. Go away. Why? Because that's what me and my wife said to the dog every time we were trying to feed my daughter. Get the food out, wouldn't we? The dog would get up, he'd go on the prowl, having a little look, wouldn't we? We'd be like, go away, go away, go away. She just picked it up. We'd push her in the pram out on the street. She'd be like, go away, go away, go away. Said to my wife, it's a good job we weren't telling that dog to fuck off, innit? Because we just wouldn't be able to take this kid out of the house.
My eldest daughter bought a boy ointment recently for the first time, and I think it's quite safe to say that I reacted rather badly to this incident when it took place. She brought the individual in question into the house that I paid for with money I earned. All right, Dad, this is Billy. Yeah, Billy. Right, nice, yeah. OK, yeah, Billy. Sweet, I'll go and put the kettle on. Daddy's going to talk to Billy. She goes to the kitchen, she doesn't realise anything's wrong. And I start reversing this little bastard around the house. Because when you're my size, you can reverse smaller men. They just back off you like that. So eventually I'll get Billy into a wall. He can't go any further. And I'm like, William. If you as much as touch her, I will cut you. At which point, young Billy started crying. But that is 6-year-olds for you, because they can't really, you know? That was the joke. This is the true version of events. How can I start this? Okay. So, the other day, my wife and I had a meeting that I did not know was a meeting. I got in, and there was tea, and there was biscuits. And I thought, brilliant. And I sat down, and I'm drinking, oh, Viscounts, I love them. Oh, didn't even take the foil off. Oh, these are, oh my, love a Viscount. And she goes, yeah, we got to have a chat about Emily. I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah, what's going on? She goes, yeah, she's having a sleepover on Friday. And I should have pointed out earlier that this is just after my daughter turned 16. That's a very important number to bear in mind. She said, yeah, Emily's having a sleepover on Friday. I went, all right, do you want me to buy pizzas? No. Because there's only one person coming. Oh, right. Right, shall I just buy one pizza? Stop talking about pizza. She's having a sleepover and it's Stephen. What, the boyfriend? Yeah. Oh, where's he going to sleep? In Emily's room. Where's she going to sleep?
I've got the memory of an elephant. I remember one time I went to the zoo and saw an elephant. I was disappointed to find that Dunkirk wasn't actually a biography of William Shatner. I accidentally kicked my dog early and it bit me on the bollocks. My mate said it's karma. I said, no, if anything, it's even more angry. I tell you what always catches my eye, short people with umbrellas. I put on a lot of weight, so I rang up Weight Watchers. I said, it's an emergency, can you send somebody round? And they said, yes, we can, we got loads of them. I was actually thrown out of Weight Watchers for making sarcastic comments at the weekly weigh-in. As you can imagine, I accepted the decision with huge grace, because they threw her out as well. I was watching TV, the announcer said there's a documentary about the clitoris on the red button, but I couldn't find it. I was in a fancy lingerie shop. I said, are these knickers satin? He said, no, they're new. I didn't know what to get my little niece for Christmas, so I asked my sister what she's into. Apparently at the moment she's mad about frozen stuff, so I got her some oven chips and peas. It's been a tough week. I got myself a memory foam mattress and now it's trying to blackmail me. As a child, I was made to walk the plank. We couldn't afford a dog. I went on a positive thinking course. It was shit. You would be. And it was half empty. The area in a Nando's between the front and back door is called the peri-perineum. What I like most about that joke is that people who know what a perineum is usually haven't heard of Nando's. Ironically, there's only a very small overlap between the two. The doctor told me to lose some weight. I said, how? He said, don't eat anything fatty. I said, what, pies, chips, that sort of thing? He said, no, just don't eat anything fatty. Old lady names are very much back in fashion at the minute, like Lily or Elsie or Rose, and we wanted something like that for our daughter, but we couldn't decide, so in the end we just called her Nan. So we shall grow into it.